I'm Theo.
And I'm Juliette.
And this is Apologies Accepted.
We offer an entertaining look at some of the big issues in history by examining public apologies of the famous and infamous.
We're looking at politicians, serial killers, actors, and you.
Send us a public apology you would like to make, and we'll read it on the air and give you a chance to redeem yourself or just get some guilt off your shoulders.
We're here for you. Once a week, maybe more if you're really, really sorry. Hi, everybody.
This is Apologies Accepted, the podcast. And I'm not Theo.
And I'm not Juliette.
And I really want to know, because we haven't podcasted for a week or so, what's shaking, bacon?
Well, there is an election that's happening in 2 days from today.
Tuesday.
So on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
scary.
I'm holding my breath and waiting. Tomorrow's gonna be real long, and then Tuesday's gonna be even fucking longer.
Yeah.
And then the next 6 months after that are going to be hysterically long, and so much Trump and the courts and suing and all of that nonsense. And
unless he just wins.
Well, even if she wins every electoral vote.
I mean, if he wins, he won't be suing.
No, if he wins, he's not going to sue. Yeah, but yeah, right?
Yeah. And the best case scenario is 6 months of suing.
The fact that it's even close is so fucking concerning. But okay, fine, whatever, right? More important than that, I had COVID. I know, boo, for a whole week.
Terrible.
I may or may not still have COVID. And the worst thing about having COVID is that I had it.
Yes.
That it was me.
It's terrible that it could have been you.
Oh, man.
You look great, though.
Well, thank you, weight loss. It's amazing what not eating will do for you for 10 days. But yeah, and so my doctor put me on Paxlovid, which is a miracle drug, and everything tastes like metal now. Because that's one of the side effects is just
I thought that was from the COVID.
It tastes bad. No. Well,
interesting.
I don't know. I think it's from the medication.
Okay.
Because everything tasted fine when I had COVID and I could still taste stuff. It was just general, like when you have a flu or cold, things taste a little off.
Right.
But I could still taste, right? Now everything tastes like tin. And tragically, also, this fell over Halloween. So I had a whole bowl full of Reese's peanut butter cups that I didn't want to eat because they taste like tin.
Well, that's so sad.
I know. This is awful.
Well, at least it'll be better before Thanksgiving.
There is always a silver lining.
It's a silver lining.
And then Christmas,
Yay.
you will be happy to know, is here in full force in Target and Home Depot.
Oh, man.
Like, there's like 2 Thanksgiving candlesticks on a shelf somewhere in both stores, and then aisles of Christmas.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
and
crazy.
I'm here for it. I am ready.
Are you decorating for Thanksgiving at all?
How sad. Yes. And of course I am.
Well, I would.
Well, I mean, air quotes around decorating, right? I bought a turkey pillow from Target.
Oh, I know, because I bought one after you did. You showed it to me,
awesome.
and I bought one.
Did you buy it online, or did you run down to Target?
No, I bought it online because they said they didn't have any. It said online they didn't have any in my local Target, so I ordered it. It's supposed to come on Tuesday, so.
Fantastic. It is a joy to behold. Every time I see that fucking turkey, I'm like, I'm so glad I bought you. You're beautiful.
It's amazing. And they have like acorns and pears and mushrooms too, which look really cute, but I've got nowhere to put them, so.
And they have chickens.
And the chickens, yes, the chickens are adorable. Did you buy a chicken?
No, no, because I figured a turkey was enough.
Yeah,
right?
probably.
The $40 turkey pillow.
Well, I mean, Pottery Barn pillows are $100, so $40 is a bargain.
You are so right there. So I have to tell this stupid story on myself, to use a Southern term. So I was in Target and I was there to buy not turkey pillows, right? And whatever I was there to get, I got. And then I was like, I'm going to go look at the holiday section and just see what's up, right? Maybe I can get some Halloween. Oh, I needed Halloween stuff for my porch. Theo, please make this story longer. Great. I didn't have any Halloween decorations for the front porch that still worked. All of my stupid animatronics died, right? How ironic when a Halloween decoration dies. But So I'm walking through the holiday section and it's all Christmas. And I'm like, oh, and I saw the turkey pillows on this shelf and there's like 4 of them. And I said, oh my God. The shelf stalker looked up at me.
That's
stopped
nice.
what she was doing to look at me. Is he having a heart attack? Does he need some help? What's going on? Oh my God. Somebody slip and fall?
Uh-huh.
No, turkey pillow, sister. Yeah, get out of the way. So, yeah, there we are. I'll say that's what Shake and Bacon, politics, medical alerts, and retail. We covered most of the American experience here.
Turkey.
What about you? What's Shake? Oh, and I went to the beach with my sister. That was a great time. Thank Pam. What about you? What's Shake and Bacon?
Wow. I went to New York, so that's why we didn't record last week. And I saw the musical Suffs, which was good. And I saw Oh Mary, which was a musical? No, it was a play. And that was funny. It's about Mary Todd Lincoln, but it's like a totally fictionalized account of her life. And she like wants to do cabaret and all kinds of fun stuff. She has an affair with some dude who's trying to teach her how to be an actress. And it's just silly and dumb and funny. And I enjoyed it. Had a good time. And then I saw McNeil, which is the play that Robert Downey Jr. is in. And it's fine. I mean, there's nothing in it that hasn't been said before or done before. It's about it.
No, I mean, okay. That's every play, every movie, every book.
Well, that's true. But this one is a little more obviously so. But it was good. It was good to see Robert Downey Jr. in person. I mean, whatever. He's one of my favorite actors. So that's the reason I bought the ticket and I got what I paid for. So that's it. And then, I spent some time. I was kind of homesick on this trip. So solo traveling is not always all it's cracked up to be. I was kind of missed home and hanging out at home and being with Bran and stuff like that. But I did stuff every day and, went back to the Museum of Modern Art and, wandered around, went to St. Patrick's Cathedral and just various things. So it was fun. I had a good time, but yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to go back in December. I kind of still want to now that I'm a week away from the experience of missing being at home. Now I'm ready to go back out somewhere else, but I don't know if I want. The only thing I have planned for December is the Rockettes, which I mean, I could miss that and not feel too bad. But I just wanted to see the Christmas decorations in New York, so we'll see. We'll see if I go or not. And that's my bacon.
Okay, so big important question. Mm-hmm. Is Robert Downey Jr. short?
He didn't. Well, I was not right up at the stage, but he didn't seem short. He didn't seem tall, but he didn't seem short. He seemed about average height.
Okay, so, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Glad to have that out of the
way. Yeah, he's older than I remember him being, but who isn't? And
God!
I think he wore a gray wig too, so. I don't know what color his hair is naturally. I have no idea how old he is, but he's at least as old as me, I think. So we're all old. We're all gray. Man, time's passing. It
happens to the best and worst of us.
Absolutely. So speaking of the best and worst of us, we've got a story.
Nice segue.
We've got a story this week, and this story comes from CBS News. A float in Wednesday night's Halloween parade in Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, consisted of a utility vehicle decorated with American flags and campaign signs for former President Donald Trump. Already questionable. Why are you doing campaign ads in your Halloween parade? And also had people dressed as U.S. Secret Service agents with what appeared to be a rifle mounted on top, and with a person dressed as Vice President Kamala Harris chained up and walking behind the cart. Ashley Fraley, who was watching the parade, and other critics said that pretending to shackle and drag a black woman behind a vehicle evoked America's shameful slavery and Jim Crow era lynchings. No shit. She said the depiction of Kamala Harris tied to the back of the vehicle and being marched down Main Street seemed very symbolic of the violence and racism against people of color in our country's history, she very eloquently said. She lives in Mount Pleasant and attended the parade with her husband and her daughter. And the president of the NAACP Pittsburgh branch spoke up, of course, saying in a statement, this appalling portrayal goes beyond the realm of Halloween satire or free expression. It is a harmful symbol that evokes a painful history of violence, oppression, and racism that Black and brown communities have long endured here in America. We urge the event organizers and local leaders to implement clearer guidelines to prevent this type of hateful and hurtful display from occurring in the future. We also ask that they offer an apology and make a public commitment to anti-racist values that affirm the dignity and equality of all people. Mount Pleasant Mayor Diane Bailey also condemned the portrayal of Harris. "I was appalled, angered, upset," she said on Thursday. "This does not belong in this parade or in this town." The mayor also said that it's up to the fire department to make changes. The fire department in Mount Pleasant has sponsored the parade for more than 70 years, so that's since the 50s, I guess. And since it had never had a problem with the displays and the parades, officials said they found no need to create a process to vet them, because times don't change. So that's our story today. I don't know if you have anything to add or if we should just go right into the apology.
Oh, I've got a little more to add.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So, of course, any story that happens in Pennsylvania, I'm always like, oh my God, what happened? Oh, because that's where my family is from.
Sure.
And so I'll say, these are people that I know, right? And not that I've heard of Mount Pleasant, but it sounds like every town around my grandparents' hometown, right? And so, I've had some issues going back to visit the family, where people say things that are quite shocking to me, but they live in small rural communities, and I don't want to say they just don't. Different experiences, right? And I'm kind of making excuses for my family here.
I mean, it's a global village now. No one has an excuse, right?
Well, I think you're right. Or at least you have more access to the reality of the global village if you live in a remote area because of YouTube and Netflix and blah, than you might have. But still, when you walk out your front door, 98% of your community is white, right?
Right.
And so I have had family members. One family member used the N-word when talking about a person.
Wow.
And I said, hey, I just have to let you know that I have issues with that word, and I don't like it when white people use that word.
Right.
So please don't. And my family member said, oh, no, don't worry about it. They're white.
What?
I'm talking about somebody who's white.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, that's not even any better.
Still,
yeah, exactly. Still, the issue remains.
Yeah.
But so whatever, I like to dive in and found some stuff. It's not terrible. It's interesting. Let's go. So Bill Bretz, who's the Westmoreland County Republican Committee Chair, right? So Westmoreland County is the county that encompasses Mount Pleasant, the town where the parade was. Mm-hmm. He said in a statement to local Channel 11 TV News, "We certainly don't condone the simulation of political imprisonment or violence in any context, no matter the party affiliation of those involved." That's nice. Not a single member of the fire department flagged this as concerning, but as you mentioned, there's no real vetting process for the floats.
Yeah.
NPR has picked up the story, and local WESA 90.5 quotes Mayor Diane Bailey. "The borough had no part in the parade. This has been handled by the fire department and organized by the fire department for as long as I can remember, and I'm old," right? "We were observers the same as any citizens who came out, and we were as shocked by it as anyone else would have been. We had no idea that this particular float, or wherever you want to call it, was going to be in the parade. It may have taken several seconds for people to realize what it was all about. I didn't hear anyone cheering. I didn't hear anyone laughing either. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that." Importantly, Bailey is a Democrat. And in these regional areas for our international audience, the difference between a registered Democrat and registered Republican can be as great as the religious difference between be as great as the difference between religious sects, right? So in some instances, it can be big as a difference between, say, a Catholic and a Protestant. Okay, Michelle McFall, who chairs the Westmoreland County Democratic Committee, said the fire department has some explaining to do. "I love our firefighters, but this is reckless and irresponsible. It's deeply concerning and a failure of leadership." The town's reaction, she says, isn't fear. People are angry that a community in the county they call home was used to launch such a hateful political display. Our fight isn't with each other, it's at the ballot box. Which I think is a statement that would go far to diffuse a lot of the political tension in this country. The Westmoreland chapter of the Republican Party directed calls to a spokesman from the Trump campaign. Really, they did. So once again, the Westmoreland chapter of the Republican Party directed calls to a spokesman for the Trump campaign.
Wow.
Why? The Pittsburgh branch of the NAACP said in a statement on Thursday that they condemned the display as a harmful symbol that evokes a painful history of violence, oppression, and racism that Black and brown communities have long endured here in America. Dalen A. Davis, president of the Pittsburgh NAACP branch, said, "Such a display has no place in our society today or any community that values inclusivity, respect, and human dignity. All communities deserve better." He is seeking an apology from parade organizers. We also ask that they make a public commitment to anti-race values that affirm the dignity and equality of all people. Residents of the community have denounced the parade display. John Kroll, 68, said he's lived in Mount Pleasant most of his life. If the people involved are his neighbors, he said, it's above and beyond disgusting. He was also shocked that no one asked the float to not participate. If you're a borough official, you better step in. And this is the part that I love. So far things are running a little counter to what my expectations would have been, which is that a white community would say things like, it's not racist and you're overreacting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so far it's been people saying, no, we're outraged and we don't like this. State Representative Eric Davenzo, who is a Republican from West Newton, was in the parade himself, but said he didn't see the display, right? Which he believed came later in the lineup. On Thursday last week, he said Thursday next week.
Mm-hmm.
No, on Thursday, he said he wondered if he would be getting calls if the roles were reversed with former president and Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump in shackles and led behind a vehicle. Yeah, because he's white. He also questioned whether the woman in the display was intended to be Vice President Harris or Hillary Clinton.
Oh, come on.
The former U.S. Secretary of State and U.S. Senator. Wouldn't it matter at all that it's a woman? Does it matter which woman? Absolutely, right? The pictures he was shown were blurry, he said, and he couldn't tell if the person behind the 4x4 wore a mask. They weren't that blurry. I saw the video. She's not wearing a mask. However, she wasn't in blackface, which I kind of expected she might have.
Oh, well, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
Right? So it was a white woman. The U.S. Secret Service, which provides protection for both presidential candidates, declined to comment on the matter Thursday beyond saying, "We can say that the Secret Service takes all threats to our protectees seriously." Yeah, and so let's go into the apology.
Okay. So the apology comes from the members of the Mount Pleasant Volunteer Fire Department, and they say, "We want to take a moment to sincerely apologize for allowing the offensive participants to take part in the Mount Pleasant annual Halloween parade last evening. We do not share in the values represented by those participants, and we understand how it may have hurt or offended members of our community. We're proud to have sponsored this parade for over 70 years, and its goal has always been to support our community's children. We are committed to learning from this experience and ensuring that our future events celebrate the diversity and spirit of our community in a positive way. The annual Halloween parade is a first-come, first-serve event, and we have traditionally only provided safety and traffic control. We will be reviewing our planning processes to prevent a situation like this from happening again. Thank you for your understanding and support as we work to make our events more welcoming for everyone. Mount Pleasant Volunteer Fire Department." So I think that's kind of shitty. It's okay. Was there an expression of regret? No, they didn't really say they do say we sincerely apologize, but they didn't say they were sorry or they regret what happened. There was an explanation of what went wrong. They said, yes, we don't review the floats, which is kind of weaseling out of it to me. It's avoiding responsibility. There was no acknowledgement of responsibility. They said we only provide traffic and safety control. There was no declaration of repentance. There kind of was an offer of repair when they said that we'll be reviewing our planning processes. But, reviewing your planning processes doesn't do anything. You have to take action. So I'm going to say there's a maybe offer of repair. And there's no request for forgiveness. So I would give this apology. Oh, I didn't think about it in advance, which I should have done. So, go ahead.
Yeah, same quandary that I had, because I have been thinking about this, right? And, it's the fire department.
Right.
And they're heroes.
Supposedly.
Right. Pretty much often always. And no one ever says defund the fire department.
Right, that's true.
Yeah. I wish I could say that like I had thought of that clever line, but it wasn't me.
Yeah.
But I read that somewhere and I was like, oh, that's true. Yeah. Why would anybody want firemen are heroes? Mostly, not that they can't be racist or, but yeah, they got to fight the fire. And that's where I've been dancing around on the number in my head, right? Because it's like, how do you give a negative or a bad number to a hero?
Right. Well, even heroes can make mistakes and cover their asses. So I think I'm going to give this one a 3, just because it didn't quite live up to my expectations from what I would expect from a hero. So that's my excuse for a 3. And I also do not accept the apology.
Okay. And I forgot about the accept and don't accept. And audience, sorry, we recently changed our format a little bit to make it better and more well-rounded.
Even better.
Yeah, even better. And so 4.5, right?
All right.
And I would have given it a 10 because like heroes, right? And then I was like, I'll give it a 6. Can take 4 points away because it's kind of also like dodging a couple of things here. Mm-hmm. But 4.5 is where I'm going to go. It's like,
all right.
And it would be, if it was like the local police department, would it be lower? Probably.
Yeah.
So they're getting a hero bump.
I see.
From Theo.
So their reputation is standing in for some points there.
Yes. My mother rode with the firefighters. I want to say that she was a firefighter, but she was not. She was a registered nurse. And so for a year, she, in Florida, rode with the fire department as a volunteer. That. Oh, yeah. It was really awesome. We got to go and hang out at the fire department like every weekend for a couple of hours. And yeah, so we have a lot of, in my immediate family, my sister and I have a lot of hero worship for firefighters.
Oh.
God, they were sexy. So, except for my mother.
Okay.
Okay. God, full disclosure.
Yeah.
So let's see. So I know that's part of the reason why I'm like, oh, you guys, you are heroes. And so it should be a 10.
Well, that makes sense.
Going to be a 6 if we're going to settle
for 4.5. So you need to take 1.5 points off for your bias, and you have a 3 as well. So we agree with each other.
Yes, exactly. And now accept and don't accept. So it was easy for me to get to the number in audience. It's how and why I'm getting to that number. Follow Theo's math. Who cares anymore, Theo? Shut up. I am going to accept it.
Ooh.
Yes. Now, do I fully believe it? No. Right?
What's the difference?
I suppose the difference is if my house catches on fire, I want them to come and put it out. No. I suppose the difference is that perhaps it's a story within the local community that still needs to play itself out, right? So who saw the float and did not step in and ask these people, who are you? Where are you coming from? Why are you here? Get out of the parade, right? That piece might cause me to, if I knew it was intentional, I really do think it was inadvertent. I really do think that the local
fire department
parade
wasn't in on it.
Yeah, I think, because, again, I know how these, it's not like I've lived in a small town. I have not, right? I have occasionally visited when visiting my grandparents.
Sure.
But is it entirely possible that a town of like 5,000 people would hold a parade where anybody that wants to could just show up and walk? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do there.
Right.
Right. So you want to join the parade? Great. Go on. We need people to walk in the parade so that people standing on the sidewalk have something to look at.
Yeah.
That's how it is. So, yeah. So I guess, maybe it's the hero worship in me that's accepting the apology. Okay. But like, okay, I accept it. Let's move on. Juliette does not. Juliette's house is on fire department. Please go help her immediately. And they would, because.
Of course they would, because they're heroes.
And also their houses might catch on fire if your burns down. So,
yes.
Self-serving heroes at that. Okay, so I've got the history of fire departments.
Oh, cool. Let's hear it.
All right, great. And then I have further brief bad parade moments. Okay, so development of fire departments, a historical overview. In the United States, there are 29,000, roughly, fire departments. And of that number, almost 19,000 of them are volunteer. The early firefighting efforts, sorry, it's hard for me to talk because I had COVID, if everybody doesn't remember. The need for organized firefighting can be traced back to ancient civilizations. In Babylon, around 2000 BCE or BC, King Hammurabi, we may remember him, he wrote the first established law codes, established one of the first codes of law, thanks, which included penalties for negligence that led to fires. Similarly, ancient Rome employed a group of slaves known as the vigiles how would you pronounce it? It's spelled like vigils, Vigiles. Jollies?
Vigiles? I don't know. That's a tough one.
Vigiles?
Yeah.
Thank you. We're going to call them the vigiles because that sounds gross.
That makes
sense.
The
vigiles, no. To patrol the streets and extinguish fires. And they probably had to use their hands. These early efforts were rudimentary, relying on buckets, ropes, and basic tools. During the Middle Ages, fire protection fell to local communities. In cities across Europe, citizens formed volunteer firefighting groups, often called fire brigades. These brigades used, which I think was a lot like being on an HOA. Nobody wanted to, but it was a necessary evil. Let's see here. The birth of organized fire departments, the big turning point in the development of fire departments came in the 17th century, in the 1600s. In England, the Great Fire of London in 1666 prompted a reevaluation of fire safety measures. The devastation led to the establishment of the first fire insurance company, known as the Fire Office, which sounds dangerous, which encouraged property owners to invest in firefighting resources. This marked a shift from community-based efforts to more organized approaches. In the early 18th century, the first professional fire department was founded in New Amsterdam. Now it's known as New York City, which is a callback to the opening of our show, in 1731. The department, known as the Union Fire Company, was a significant advancement in firefighting as it was first to pay firefighters as employees. Other cities soon followed suit, with Boston establishing its own fire department in 1678 and Philadelphia in 1736. And then the Industrial Revolution comes along, and things really start to heat up. Thank you. That was me. I made that up. The Industrial Revolution in the 19th century brought about rapid urbanization and an increase in fire hazards due to the proliferation of factories and densely populated neighborhoods. In 1853, the Metropolitan Fire Brigade, I swear I will get this right, was established in London, becoming one of the first fully professional fire services in the world. And then this model caught on and was copied in Paris and then New York. And I'll say and then after that, you can probably just figure it out. Tools got better, things got better. Let's move on to shocking parade events. There's so many of them. This was going to be my big research point where I was dive in. There's going to be something. And oh my God, there was so much. Every parade in America has pissed somebody off at some point about something, right? So
amazing.
So instead of looking for floats, here's some shocking parades. Like the whole parade was objectionable. Yep.
Wow.
And a couple of these you and I would easily agree with, and a couple of these you and I would have some issues with. You pick which one. You let me know if you think it's shocking or not.
Okay.
Okay. The 1926 Ku Klux Klan parade in Washington, D.C. The KKK organized a massive parade to demonstrate their influence and promote white supremacy, right? And I think that was big. I think they had something like 10,000 people show up for that.
Wow.
Public outcry highlighted the racist nature of the event, which celebrated segregation and anti-immigration sentiments. Okay, so is that shocking or why were people upset? Shocking.
Definitely shocking.
Understandably why people are upset.
Yeah.
The 1939 Nazi Party rally in New York City, which we recently relived. Thank you, Trump.
Yeah.
A large rally held by the German-American Bund in Madison Square Garden featured pro-Nazi speeches and symbols. And not only symbols, they had 2 giant swastikas on banners on either side of a giant portrait of George Washington.
Wow.
And these things were 30 feet tall. The public was outraged by the display of Nazi propaganda and anti-Semitic sentiment, leading to protests and a significant backlash. Okay, so I agree that's bad. I would be against that. The 1965 Selma to Montgomery March.
Uh-huh.
While intended as a peaceful demonstration for voting rights, the violence that erupted during the march, particularly on Bloody Sunday, shocked the nation. Images of police brutality sparked outrage and intensified civil rights movement. But I guess the shocking bit is the police use of force.
The violence.
I was thinking that it was the fact that it was people of color marching. So, okay, I understand. I am shocked too. Yes.
Yes.
The 1977 National Socialist Party of American March. What? In Skokie, Illinois. Now that'll ring a bell. This was a march by a neo-Nazi group in a town with a large Jewish population, including many Holocaust survivors, which provoked significant public outcry. Many of them found the march a painful affront to the community's history. Yeah, I'd be shocked at that, everyone.
Sure.
The 1991 A Day Without a Woman Parade. I don't remember this day.
I don't either.
Held during International Women's Day, the parade drew attention to gender inequality, but faced criticism from various groups who felt it was exclusionary and divisive, leading to heated debates about feminism and representation. That one, I'm not shocked by that. Like, I don't feel excluded if a group of women want to make a political statement, and I'm all right with that. Men do it all the time. So no public outrage for me on that.
Nope.
And that's the extent of my who's got what for what.
Wow.
What?
There've been some shitty parades.
There have been some shitty parades. And when I was Googling like offensive floats and all that nonsense, like so many pride parades. The fact that there was a pride parade, like every pride parade. Oh, yeah. Wow. But yeah, understandable. Some of those floats can get very risque / nearly public sex, right?
Sure. Like, oh, my God.
Everybody calm down. And I mean parade people, paraders, float people. Calm down. You can have sex elsewhere. It doesn't have to be on a float.
We don't want to see anyone having sex. Gay or straight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's enough. Not unless I'm paying for it. So that's it. That's all I got. Okay, so what about you now? Who's sorry now? Or
who's sorry now? I have an apology expected. And
all right.
Social media messages from an incumbent state senator from Grand Forks, North Dakota, have prompted a rebuke from the chairman of the state Democratic Nonpartisan League Party. On Tuesday, North Dakota Democratic NPL chairman Adam Goldwyn said Senator Scott Meyer lacks the judgment and temperament to serve any longer, referring to a series of comments made by Meyer directed at Meyer's opponent, Democrat Kyle Thorson. Meyer said in a direct message to Thorson via Facebook, "Regardless how this election ends, you've picked a fight. This won't end on November 5th. I haven't said shit about you, but my special operators know you. Enjoy. They don't enjoy being called out, especially by betas like you." And Meyer linked the latter post to a webpage that showed and described special military forces. He also told Thorson, "My friends hate you, and I won't forget." Thorson told the Grand Forks Herald that he has filed a report with the Grand Forks Police Department and expects an apology. So we have an apology expected by Scott Meyer. Is he really going to apologize? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll follow up on that one.
Follow up on that one for sure. Like we always follow up on everything.
We'll add that to our follow-up list.
So how about you? Do you have a who's sorry now or an apology expected?
Apology expected.
Okay.
And from the royal family, can you believe?
Wow.
Yes. And no, it's not for colonialism, which I think King Charles, so weird for me to say that, kind of actually sort of skated around, but it's going to be from the royal family. And it's because it came to light over the weekend that they're receiving payment from charities.
Oh, my God.
Now, most people probably in the Western world are aware that the royal family does a lot of charitable work.
Sure.
And it's their main public function.
Sure.
Right. And yeah, they got a lot of money, but yeah, they also get a lot of tax money, and the crown is funded by the public. And there's lots of feelings about that. So the royal family in particular does charitable work with NHS, which is the National Health Services. Mm-hmm. And they've been earning to the tune of $12 million a year.
Wow.
Funds from the NHS is paying the royal family $12 million a year to house their fleets of ambulances.
What?
So all the parking that happens, what? So the ambulance has got to park somewhere, and they're parking in royally owned places and paying for the privilege of parking there.
Jeez.
And then the royal family goes and cuts a ribbon somewhere or goes visit a children's ward and brings public attention to the NHS and the good work that it does. And I have family members that would fight me on that. But, come to America. You can pay for your health care. I'll take free health care and wait 2 weeks to see a doctor. Yeah, so I'm sure there's going to be an apology coming from Kensington Palace or Buckingham Palace, not Kensington.
Hopefully they'll stop taking that money, too. Aren't they one of the richest families in the world?
I don't even know if they know what money is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's how rich they are. They're as rich as the Saudis. Or close to.
That's insane. They get money from charity and then from the NHS.
And that's the one that I know of. So apparently there's other ones as well. But that's probably the biggest one because that's what made it to Twitter.
Wow.
Which I now apologize to you because I'm still reading Twitter and I can't get off of it.
Shame on you.
And I should. It's race. Oh my God. It's so fucking bad. It's so right wing. I said racist when I meant right wing, but anymore they're the same thing in my head. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So boo on everybody except our listeners and us.
All right. So I think that's it for this week. That was fun.
That's going to be it.
Everyone hope you had a great Halloween, and we'll be back before Thanksgiving probably. So we'll catch up on Thanksgiving activities in the next few weeks. Very exciting, and I can't wait for my turkey to come in. So my turkey pillow. So I'm totally excited about that. That's the
they
thing
sold
I'm
out
looking
last
forward to
year.
most this
I'm glad
week.
you got one.
I know. I read that. So I'm glad I got mine in time. So, all right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Stay cool, cucumbers.
And don't trip, you potato chip, you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Apologies Accepted, the podcast.
You can find links to the articles and the sources in the show notes.
To submit an apology or find out more, visit us at apologiesaccepted.net, where you can also find our merchandise.
We're on Twitter at Apologies Accepted.
And on Instagram at apologies.accepted.
You can support our important work at Patreon.com/Apologies Accepted.
And fuck Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.